Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into A Cane on Pain. I'm Rashmi Kane, registered massage therapist, and today we're doing a stretching video that you can do just about anywhere for the next 10 minutes. Neck and shoulders, hips, so let's just go ahead and get started. So we're going to do some neck rolls, forward and back, all the way around, okay, each way. And then we're going to do ear to shoulder, trying to feel a nice stretch on the side of our neck here. If you wanted to intensify the stretch, you're going to take your arm and reach for the ground or grab hold of your chair. And we're going to breathe and hold. You never want to feel pain when you're stretching. You just want to feel a nice pull. And breathe. Perfect. And then we're going to shake that off, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Ear to shoulder the other way, stretching out now on my right side. The reason why we hold our stretches is because muscles are elastic in nature and they need time to lengthen and relax. As we get down to our lower body, we're going to hold for a little bit longer. Okay, I'm going to shake that off. Now, either you're going to do ear to shoulder and you're going to roll your head down. I call this stretch the armpit sniff stretch, or that way you feel the stretch all the way in the back. Or you're going to do ear to shoulder and you're going to roll up. That way you feel the stretch in the front. Depending on your posture, what you're doing for your profession, one or the other will feel better for you. So I prefer ear to shoulder and roll down, and I feel a nice stretch. And same thing with the arm, you're going to reach down for the ground. And breathe. When we're breathing, we take nice, big, deep diaphragmatic breaths, allowing your belly to expand with every inhale, and then shrink with every exhale. Perfect. Shake that off a little, roll it out, and then we're going to do the same thing, ear to shoulder, and I'm going to do, I call it the armpit sniff stretch. You're trying to sniff your armpit. And breathe. These muscles tend to get tight as we're sitting at the desk all day, or looking at our devices all day. Perfect. I'm going to shake that off, and then last one, we're going to do chin to chest. Now we'll feel a nice stretch all along the back of our upper body. You can try rounding forward, so you grab hold of your arms and round forward. Feel a bigger opening through the back upper shoulders. And breathe and hold. Often when people are stretching, they don't hold it long enough. Perfect. Next, we're going to do our shoulders. So we're going to do some neck rolls forward and then backwards. And then you can either hug yourself. You can, in yoga class, we call this thread the needle. So I'm taking my right arm, swinging it under my left and binding the hands, keeping the elbows away from my body and lifting up. I feel a great stretch in between the shoulder blades. If this is too much, you can just simply, same thing, cross one arm underneath the other, and you're going to pull the shoulder off to the side, feeling a nice stretch on either shoulder. And again, breathe. I'm going to switch around, do it the other way, whatever you feel is more comfortable, accessible for your body. Don't feel, oh my goodness, I'm not as flexible. You will never become flexible until you take the time to stretch. It comes, yogis are not flexible overnight. It's a practice. They've been doing it for an extensive period of time, years upon years. Perfect. And now while we're doing the arms, we're going to work on the forearms because most of us are spending too much time on our devices, computers. So the first one we're going to do is arms straight. You're going to pull your fingers back towards you. Same thing, we're going to breathe and hold. We're holding for roughly about 30 seconds. As we get to the larger muscles, anything I would say from the waist down, we hold for at least a minute. And as you get stronger, more flexible and more tolerant, you can hold for upwards of 3 to 5 minutes. That's how you're going to make a change in those muscles. Perfect. I'm going to roll out your wrist. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Feeling a nice stretch all here in our common flexor tendons. These muscles allow you to curl the wrist towards you. Perfect. And then we're going to roll out the wrist And we're going to do it in the opposite direction. So same thing, elbow straight, don't bend the elbow. If you bend the elbow, you're not going to feel as much of a stretch. And you're pulling the fingers towards you. For those of us who are not feeling as much of a stretch and you need to intensify it a little bit more, we have this fossa here. I'm going to rotate my arm, keeping my wrist at the same position and just rotating at the elbow to get the fossa to point up to the ceiling. And then I'll feel more of a stretch here on this big muscle on this outside. And breathe and hold. Perfect. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So since I'm a massage therapist, I'm pretty flexible with my forearms. I like to twist and rotate, and that makes me feel a nice stretch on the outside of my arm there. Perfect. We're going to work onto the hips. So now we're going to be holding for a little bit longer. Great stretch to do is you're going to sit like how all the boys sit. So you're going to cross one leg over the other, and you're going to hinge forward, bringing your body towards the knee. You want to keep the foot flexed, so the toes pointing towards the knee. This helps protect the knee, and you're going to hinge forward. Not sure if you can see, I'm short, I'm only 5 feet tall, so I'm using a yoga block to prop my feet up. Because if I don't have it, my feet are dangling. See, that's how little I am. So in order to use your entire chair, you need to sit back. So I'm using a yoga block to keep me in better alignment with my legs. And you're going to breathe and hold. For us ladies who are at work right now in a skirt, a dress, and you do not feel comfortable sitting like this at work, you're just going to simply cross your legs, and you're going to take your leg and pull it more towards you, and maybe rotate to the one side, trying to get more of a stretch into the hip. But maybe when you get home and you feel more comfortable, or do this under your desk, you can sit and bend and fold like this. So I hope everyone else is still holding their stretch, leaning forward. As we keep holding, you'll be able to feel that the stretch you can hold, and you can go further as you're holding it longer. I'm going to switch around, do the other leg. So toes bent, and I'm bringing my body, my chest. If your leg is way up high, don't worry. You can use your arm and try to push it down and fold. You never want to make any angry faces. You want to have your face nice, calm, and relaxed, and again, no pain. If you're feeling pain, you need to back it up a little bit. So calm faces, and you're just going to hold and breathe. We're almost there. Hang in there. Perfect. Then we're going to stand up. So you've been sitting all day. So a great way to stretch out the low back is we're going to simply bend forward and touch your toes. So you're going to take a big breath in and slowly, slowly hinge forward and reach for your toes. If you cannot touch your toes, I have my yoga block again. You can use a book. I'm sure you have a binder or something at your desk that you could reach and rest your hands on it, trying to keep your back straight, okay? If you can go a little bit further, keep the book flat, and eventually working on touching your toes and then palms flat, and really bending in, folding forward. And again, we're going to breathe and hold. If you feel more comfortable to bend the knees, that's okay, no problem. We're looking to feel a nice stretch at the back of our legs, and maybe even in through the low back. Breathe. Your breath should always be audible. Not always be audible, but when we're stretching, let it sound like a nice ocean. Perfect. And then we're going to slowly, slowly stand back up with your head coming up last. And we're going to stretch the hip flexors. The hip flexors, mainly because you're sitting all day, you're in this flex position, you want to bring the leg back. So the best thing to do is to lunge. Grab onto a chair if you're not comfortable. Want to keep the pelvis bones straight, in alignment. If my one hip is going off to the side, I'm not going to feel the stretch as much. And same thing, we're going to breathe and hold. If you're not comfortable, you never want the knee to be past the ankle. You always want the knee to be right on top of the ankle. That way, the shin bone is actually protecting the knee. If my knee is past, there's no stability, you want to have it right on top of the ankle. If you're not comfortable to do this, you could simply do heel to bum and stretch this way, okay? Hold on to something if you don't have the balance. For the rest of us, I hope you're still in your lunge. You can try thrusting your pelvis a little bit forward, and that'll really intensify, making you have a nice stretch right in through your psoas and your quadriceps muscles. Perfect. I'm going to switch it, do the other side. Same thing, try to keep your pelvis in nice alignment. Stay, breathe, and hold. If you want something more intense, you could try raising your arm up. You can go a little bit further back. You can go off to the side. You know, with stretches, you just have to play with it. See where you're feeling it. Not everybody's going to be the same. So just little twinges in your movement, you'll feel something a little bit different. And again, calm faces, breathe and hold. See, as I keep holding, I can go a little bit further. I feel a great stretch right here in the front of my head. Perfect. I'm going to stand up straight, shake it off, and get back to work. Hope you enjoyed my video. See you next time at Cane on Pain. I'm Reshmi Kane.